Hey guys, it's ArchieLuxury. ArchieLuxury from the ArchieLuxury channel, the Paul Pluta channel, and ArchieLuxury corporate. Guys, keep watching. Keep watching. I need the viewers. I need the viewers. I need the subs. I need it. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Tell your friends, whether you like them or hate them. Just tell them anyhow. ArchieLuxury on YouTube. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury channel. And today, guys, I want to talk about wealth diversification, and putting assets away for terrible times. And we are in the middle of COVID-19, and I want to talk about wristwatches as a store of wealth. Now, let me explain a few things to you, and let's have a bit of a talk. Wristwatch check. I'm wearing a Patek 5196. So firstly, I want to say, I think any guy there or any female, if you are the breadwinner, or if you are the more wealthy in the relationship, you gotta do something to protect your assets. Even if you're the poorer one, it's always good to have a secret stash. Now let me explain. We are in very tricky times. COVID-19, which to be completely frank with you, I'm not a conspiracy person. I don't believe this is to completely fight with everybody and, to get control. I think there are some things that certainly could be going that way, but I'm not convinced it's a global conspiracy. The thing is this, let me explain to you this. In this world that we live in, we've got to be aware of certain asset classes have certain problems. And I would say, I think everyone's balance sheet should have a few off-ledger assets. Let me explain. If you have real estate is very, very, very beautiful type of investment. The big problem with real estate is if you want to sell it, it's a big chunk of change. It's often not small money, it's big money. You have a mortgage. If you get sued, they can always seize or there's certain legal limitations that make it very hard to leave quickly. Then you have, so real estate itself, whilst I would never say, hey, don't have anything, I think if you got a home, hey, that's a great idea. The next thing is shares, and shares are a great thing to have. Again, they're normally in a register, very easy to be seized, controlled if you're going through a divorce, very easy to put the kibosh on that. Then you say, okay, well, hang on a minute, what about superannuation, 401k to you Americans? Well, there are some very nasty things that I will talk about with superannuation that can happen. Then we've got collectibles. You say, okay, collectibles themselves there. Now the problem is a lot of collectibles are big. Say classic cars. They're not something easy to store, very difficult to take to another country unless it's a very valuable one. And then you've got taxes, duties, and all sorts of horrible, nasty things. So collectibles has its problems. Then you go into commodities. Well, have you ever tried walking into another country with a bar of gold? Ding, 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 ding. The alarms would go off. Money laundering, money laundering, money laundering. It's very, very tricky. Now, I got to tell you, you want to have, I never would say put all your money into watches. But I think a sensible idea would be to have, if you own a home, hey, you need somewhere to stay. Hey, if you have a bit of 401k, there's certain tax advantages. Hey, that's okay. But it's also not a bad idea to have a few off-ledger assets that aren't really trackable or seizable that easily. Something you can put into a briefcase and get the FICE out of the country or the city or the place. Now, let me explain a few things that have happened around the world there, okay? There was a very interesting article in Australia, the government broadcaster ABC. Coronavirus crisis heightens fears bank deposits could be wiped out under ambiguous laws. Okie dokie. So this goes on to reveal, imagine you woke up one day to find your bank account had been wiped out. Your entire life savings evaporated overnight. It happened because the very, blah, blah, blah. And it says, if you think this is totally impossible, so, sorry, let's just back up a bit there. The bank has taken your deposit and converted it into shares to ensure its own survival. You now have the shares, which has a lot more risk than having the cash. This is a scenario of a bank moving to bail in your money. If you think this is impossible, it happened in Cyprus not so long ago. That's correct. Cyprus. That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Yeah, so basically, I've got a few articles I'm going to link down below. The Atlantic had a great story. I'll link it down below. Everything you need to know about the Cyprus bank disaster. Imagine you woke up one day. Okay, these guys must have copied the style. That $1 in every $16 of your supposedly safe money is gone. If you're wealthy enough to have more savings, it could be $1 in $10. Is it a nightmare? No, this is exactly what happened in Cyprus. Yes. So this is something that it has happened in other parts of the world. Could it happen in Australia or America? Probably not. But hey, it has happened in other places. Another disaster is inheritance tax. That's correct. In Australia, we don't have an inheritance tax, but in many parts around the world, they do. Japan, 55%, Korea, 50%, France, 45%, UK, 40%, same as the United States, Spain, 34%, Ireland, 33%, Belgium, 30%, same as Germany, going all the way down to Italy with 4%. Inheritance tax. Thank you. Inheritance tax. What a nasty combo deal. So then we look at another thing that could happen. You'd say, well, okay, let's be realistic. At the moment, putting money into a bank account, you're going to get, at the moment in Australia, it's less than 1% interest you could earn on your money. So you'd say, well, I wouldn't have money in the bank anyhow. I'd have it working for me. And one of the most tax effective ways is having it in having it invested in your superannuation for your retirement, your 401k, your Roth IRA. Well, guess what happened in Argentina? Don't cry for me, Argentina. Guess what happened in 2008? Yes. Yes, you know what happened, don't you? Yes, let me tell you what happened. This is from the New York Times. Argentina's government said Tuesday that it would seek to nationalize nearly $30 billion in private pension funds to protect retirees from falling stock and bond. I like the way they're always doing it to help out people. No. They basically use the money to pay government debt back. Yes. So, what can you say? If you think it can't happen, well, I admit Argentina's always been a little bit on the dodgy side, but what's to say they won't change the rules? So, yeah. So I gotta be totally honest with you. One of the best stores of wealth, timepieces, wristwatches. That's correct, wristwatches. Because let's talk about this. Wristwatches you can easily take from one country to another. Wristwatches are a very tradable commodity. They're a good store of value. They are a great thing. Now, some people would say, oh, well, how about I have cash? Cash, 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 cash. Well, let me tell you what's happened in some places. They cancel the top banknote. It happened in Russia. The euro, they've cancelled the 1,000 euro note. It indeed has happened. And in other countries, India, they decided to issue a new banknote, and everything before the new banknote is now null and void. You had a certain time period to cash it in, and presto. Now, obviously, they use very, very trendy words here. They say they're doing this to stamp out money launderers, all these evil black economy, all these things. But really, what they're trying to do is, they know by changing the banknote and changing the rules, a lot of people won't be cashing it in. Yes, indeed. So it's an incredibly interesting world we live in there. There are a number of reasons why normal investments and securities are not that safe. The other problem is many economies are printing money. Printing money, you print too much money, you just put it into the economy, then you have inflation. So I got to tell you, what do I think the answer is? Well, I think am I saying that you should sell everything you've got, cash in your pension plan, your superannuation, your 401k, take everything out of the bank and buy watches? No. But would it be a bad idea to have a percentage of your wealth in some assets like watches? Something that you could wear into another country. Something that you could buy and it would hold its value. Something which you could go to another country and start a new life. That's exactly right. So I gotta tell you, in these very troubled times there, I think watches can be an ideal asset class to do this with. I think it could be a very good thing to choose. Now, which watches? I've got another video coming out on this, what watches to invest in. Yes. What watches to invest in? We'll talk about that in the next video. So guys, this is the first video. The other dangerous thing is, I want to mention, is that in the Western world, anything she who must be obeyed, or he who must be obeyed if you're a female, you want something that's non-ledger. See, cars have titles, real estate has a deed, superannuation. It's also trackable. You want something that you can buy, put into your briefcase or safe, and it holds value. You want something. Now, there aren't many items that do that. But I think wristwatches could be the ideal asset class. So we'll talk about this in the next, what should you buy? We'll talk about it in the next video. This is the first video in the series. I'm Paul Pluta. This is protecting yourself in COVID-19. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you in the next one. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW.
Hey guys, Archie Luxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.